Cheers, man.
Cheers.
So stop talking instead. Stop. I can't even talk
I'm
right
not
now.
even talking right now. This is all you.
No, I said so and you said so at the same time. Come on, man. Dude, we've been talking together for too long. We're like saying the same thing now. We are going to talk about the Olympics today and also how we feel like Japan sees it differently from other countries.
I was trying to cut you off so we could lead into like a funny oh, Arthur, did you know there's something going on right now?
Oh, sorry, man. I'm too into the business, man. I'm just too straight.
It's all right.
Yeah. So let me just ask you, when was the last time you watched the Olympics?
Like live or just seeing clips?
Live. Like, oh, let me tune in and watch the Olympics.
God, I think it's been like 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah, last time that I probably went to go see the Olympics on TV while it was happening was when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly I can't even remember. I want to say like the Beijing Olympics, which was that like 2008?
2008, yeah.
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 I watched like the opening ceremony. Like it was actually pretty crazy. The opening ceremony for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's like you like occasionally you'll like go on Google and just check gold medals or something. Yeah. Like, but honestly, it's like this past Olympics. I mean, I don't even really care.
Yeah, like I haven't watched.
I haven't watched anything.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who are staying up really late to watch the Olympics, and they're like updating stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't really see that so much from my friends in the States. You know, I see that more here.
Yeah,
and to be honest, Japan had a really nice, strong start in the Olympics. They got a ton of gold medals right in the beginning. You know, so it was exciting.
I mean, America usually does really good in the Olympics too. Like, it's not because
they do good every year.
Yeah. It's not because America's doing bad that I just don't care. It's like I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Although there is one thing that we do care about from the dude.
Oh, all right. Do you want to introduce him?
Yeah, the Mukaki Oji-san.
Yeah. So basically they have shooting, which first of all, everyone's kind of memeing that America lost because it's like, America, this is what you're supposed to be good at.
Yeah.
You're the gun place.
Yeah.
You know? So it's pistol shooting, right? And this is actually pretty cool, but it's honestly really boring to watch.
Yeah.
Because you're just watching people like, pew.
And they just pull a trigger. Pew, pew, pew.
It's like, dude, why even televise this? Like,
yeah. First of all, did you know that shooting was an Olympic sport?
Yes.
So I could imagine is there like different levels of it, like where you use rifles, or is it just hit pistols?
I believe there's one rifle and one pistol one, but the Winter Olympics one is way more intense.
Yeah.
And basically Norway always wins. So because it's a skiing while shooting.
That's a skiing while shooting.
Yeah, so you're skiing and you have to hit targets.
Shooting.
Yeah, no, seriously,
like
that's what it
James
is.
Bond.
Yeah. I think you have to stop, shoot, and then keep going.
Okay.
But it's a race. So like you're racing down this hill against other Olympic athletes, and then you stop to shoot and you have to hit the target. So it's like you're measured on your time and your accuracy.
Okay, wow.
It's really interesting. And basically like Norwegian country or Norway and like Sweden and like those
the Norwegian countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. So like just I know so little about the Olympics that I didn't even know that they had a shooting category.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's been around for quite a while.
Yeah. I know that now.
Yeah.
And then like out comes spot number 2 is this like disheveled older dude.
Yeah, because it's really funny, especially if you look at the person. So first of all, this guy won silver, right? He wasn't just some lazy guy who showed up and was like, this guy's a moron, like he's just a joke. But so you have you see God, I can't speak right now. You see pictures of the gold medalist who's like this woman from Korea, and she looks like she's from the Matrix.
Yeah, right.
She's got like this slicked back hair. She's got like
a baseball
these,
cap on.
Yeah, like these binocular glasses, and like she just looks really serious.
Yeah.
And then you see this guy, and it's like this guy's fat and out of shape. Well, he's not that fat, but he's like got the dad body, right?
He's got a dad bod.
He's got like stubble. Yeah. He hasn't even shaved.
Yeah.
Like someone took a picture while he was shooting and his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like,
okay, let's
like
just do this.
Right?
Yeah.
And the dude got silver.
Yeah.
In the Olympics.
Yeah. I know. Like you were saying, all the other Olympic athletes, it's like they train their life for this. This is their thing. And they look the part, like this is what they've dedicated their life to. And this guy looks like he just woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning.
Seriously. It looks like he was like one of the participants, it looks like he was one of the spectators.
Yeah.
And they're just like, the guy for Turkey didn't show up today. Do you want to just take his spot so there's somebody to do this?
Yeah.
It looks like that was his thing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's funny though, because I remember, whenever I find something I'm curious about, I always look it up and stuff. And I found out that guy, he doesn't consider himself a professional. He said he learned how to shoot after an argument with his wife.
That's a bold statement.
I wonder
to
what
make.
kind of an argument that was. At first I thought it was a joke, but then I looked it up in multiple places, man.
That's a very bold statement to make on the news at the Olympics.
I know. And now in the States, everyone's like, oh, this guy is a covert assassin or he's a spy, because he doesn't look the part,
Just secretly a KGB officer.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff gets viral and stuff, but I feel like, a lot of Japanese people are into the Olympics way more than people from the States are from Europe.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, how much did you follow the Tokyo Olympics while they were here?
I totally forgot they were happening.
Dude, me too.
It's like,
honestly,
like
I purposely tried to avoid areas where like it was happening just to like kind of not be around crowds, because I'm just not a fan of crowds. But I don't know. Like I feel, I mean, it could just be our personal preference, but I just kind of feel like Americans don't really care about the Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like they think, oh, we're the best, we're the only ones who matter. I feel like it's just, so the Olympics came out of a time period, the Meiji period actually, where I think it was the Meiji period at least, where there was increasingly escalating armaments and like people preparing their military for war. What do you call it? Escalating the reserves? Like what do you call that? They were like, the countries were afraid another country was going to attack them, so they built up their army, and then the other
build up.
Okay, yeah.
Or escalation.
So it was escalating, yeah. And so a way to kind of diffuse some of that tension was to host the Olympics. So Olympics originally come from Greece, but the current Olympics is actually from France from like 100 some years ago. Yeah. But like, even there's a lot of political instability in the world right now, but for a long time, especially after the Cold War, it feels like, oh, we have world peace. Yeah. They achieved their status. We don't really need this anymore. And so people became kind of lethargic about it, apathetic about it.
Yeah, I think that definitely has to do something. I kind of have a completely different opinion on why I think Americans don't care. Mm-hmm. So, people do not comprehend just how big of a country America is. Mm-hmm. And you could make an argument, well, okay, Austin, sure, but like Russia and Canada are bigger countries than America. But something you have to realize is, like, I'm guy talking here, so I'm ballparking the estimates, but it's something like 70% of Canada's population lives around Toronto.
Yeah, right.
It's like the vast majority of the population.
Yeah, like 70% lives close to the American border.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, like, despite Canada being a big country, like, the population is really condensed in a very small area in the country. Russia, it's the same thing, right? The vast majority of the population of Russia is on the European side. Yeah. Right. And of course they have population in the Asian side, but it's nowhere near as much as the Russian or the European side. Right. But when you look at America is very spread out.
Very distributed.
We have massive populations that are still centered around cities, but the cities are really spread out.
Yeah. There's no real like center of America.
Yeah. Right. And a person from Seattle does not really have much in common with someone from Florida.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. And so I think a big reason why many Americans don't really care about the Olympics is because you have people representing America, but they might be from a part of America that you just have no connection with.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess they're American, but it's like this guy grew up in Haiti and moved to Florida. Or, this person's from Maine, or this person's from Nebraska. It's like, I I have no connection to anything that person represents.
Yeah, now that you say that, if there was someone from like the Boston area, I'd be much more interested in watching the Olympics.
Yeah, and I think that's what you typically see Americans do, where they'll rally instead of really caring about what America does, they'll rally behind a person from their area.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's like a big reason why you just don't see Americans just care.
Yeah,
it would be like taking all of Europe and then expecting somebody from like Spain to care about someone from Lithuania does.
Oh yeah, it'd be like hey, we have the European Olympic team instead of like each country. We have the European Olympic team.
Yeah.
You know. No, I get that.
That is a country in Europe, right? Lithuania?
Yeah, Lithuania is a country in Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an American.
Lusitania. No, that's the name of a ship. Yeah. Yeah, so no, I get that. I get that a lot, because a lot of people just, like you said, it's such a huge country. Japan fits in America 12 times over,
Yeah. I mean, if you look at a map, Japan is roughly the size of California, which is big. It's a very big place, but it's like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you turned around and you looked at Japan, and why does Japan care so much about world records? Why does Japan care about all these cultural sites? Why do they care so much about the Olympics? Well, that's because everywhere in Japan has like a really strong national identity, right?
Yeah,
but
we're Japanese.
Yeah, right? And it's like, yeah, sure, you have people who are in Kansai, and you have Kansai culture, you have Kanto culture, you have Hokkaido culture, blah, 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 right? All those exist.
Yeah.
But when you ask people, like, okay, you're from Osaka, and I want you to talk to this person from Kanto. They're going to have like 98% things in common culturally, right? You can't say that about America.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of our experiences are going to be really different depending on which region you're from. Yeah,
well, I mean, I remember people would make fun of the way I talked when I went to Seattle at first.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I first met someone from Hawaii, and from Alaska too, I felt like they weren't American. I was like, "What country are you from?" They're like, "I'm from Hawaii." Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's the same with Alaska, right? Yeah. It's like Alaska is kind of just its own thing, right?
So it's way up there.
It really is. And it's like you talk to people down in the Bible Belt, and they'll make like references to stuff that are like, talking about like tornadoes and stuff. It's like I'm from Seattle. I don't know what a friggin' tornado is. I've never seen that in my life. I can't connect with that.
Yeah.
And it's like all these different cultural references. Like my coworkers, one of my coworkers is from Seattle, but the other American coworker I have she's from Washington D.C. And first of all, it's really frustrating because people from outside of America always mistake Washington and Washington D.C. They think it's the same place.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Well, no. Even from where I'm from, people say Washington. Like when I told people I'm going to University of Washington in Boston, like, oh, have fun in DC. Like, oh no, not that one. Wait, why are you going there?
Yeah. And I commonly kind of tease you about being from the West or the East Coast and saying it might as well be a different country, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's very different.
Like, just the things that we talk about, the food that we eat, like the references that we know. We talked about in our previous episode about Oktoberfest, and you were saying that like. It was really interesting to see German restaurants.
Yeah.
Like that's something you'll see on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I was really surprised you didn't have them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's the first time I ever ate at like a really authentic Greek restaurant, even though there's tons of Greek immigrants in Boston. First time I went to a really truly Greek restaurant was in Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah. So your experiences are going to be like basically the equivalent of going to a different country.
Just the language is the same. Or
but
similar.
The language is the same, right? Yeah. And it's like we all consider ourselves American.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, you even see it in the United States of America. In our name, we're not even America. We're the United States, as in many different states just together.
Yeah.
Right?
And actually, now that, English is like the lingua franca of the world.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in Europe too, where people will have different languages, but people still speak English to each other.
Yeah.
And so even when you go to another country in Europe where the culture is different. You guys are still using the same language. Even if it's not your native language, it's still assumed you're going to be talking in that language. So you have, there is, the cultural difference is on another level of magnitude, but still you got that interconnectedness. I feel like the European Union is slowly becoming more like the United States.
I think that was the goal, like when they started it, because they kind of wanted to band together. But yeah, so looking back on it now, and it's like I didn't even know what a World Heritage Site was. Until I came to Japan.
That's what I want to ask you too. So when I was a kid.
Hey guys, we're interrupting this awesome podcast with the two of us to tell you about a really special thing. It's called the Austin and Arthur Friends.
In the Austin and Arthur Friends, you're going to get this video with English and Japanese subtitles. 日本語と英語の字幕両方ついている動画もゲットできるんですね。You can also get a PDF script so you can read along with it. You'll get the video, the long conversation in separate videos, so it's easier for you to watch as well. You'll also get access to a 会員限定 online community and also opportunities to talk directly with me and Austin.
Yeah, because we're really fun to talk to.
Well, I am. Austin's really boring.
That's a lie. It's the opposite.
He's correct. I'm the boring one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya. I was kind of into the Guinness Book of World Records, and then it kind of fell out of popularity.
No one talks about it now.
But every once in a while in Japan, I see people still saying, "Oh, we got a Guinness World Record or something like that."
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like in America, people are like, "That's a scam. I don't care." But here, people have a big deal about that. Just like they make a big deal about the Olympics, they make a big deal about that. And then also when we talked about this, when I first came to the States, I came to Japan, I was really surprised at how much they emphasize that this is a World Heritage Site.
You hear it
wherever you
everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think Japan has the most World Heritage Sites in the world. I'm
really?
pretty sure
Michelin
that's
stars? Thing. They have the most Michelin stars in the world, too.
That's another example, right? Yeah. And it's like all these records, and it's like Japan as a country is really proud of all this. And it's like, that's great. I'm not trying to bash that. I think I kind of wish Americans would have more pride in their country, but like I said, it's really hard for me to care about something in New York. Yeah. It's like, oh, great, cool. New York has like a 5-star restaurant that some person in France thinks is important.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the United States, we do have some UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but
absolutely.
But you don't have the same level of passion. Like, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
I would say like the big group does. Like you think of Mount Rushmore, you think of Grand Canyon or the Grand Canyon, like those places. Like okay, yeah, sure,
yeah, but
we don't think of them as World Heritage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's like even in that state, they may be registered World Heritage Sites, but it's not necessarily.
What's the word we use for them? You know?
I don't even know. What is it?
Name of a movie.
Name a movie?
Starts with an N.
National Lampoon? No, just kidding.
That's the first word.
What, National Park?
National Treasure.
National Treasure.
We call them National Treasures, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, National Treasures, like the Statue of Liberty and like all that stuff. So it's kind of a selfish way of thinking, but it's a very national centric instead of world centric.
But even so, like when you go to these places, I don't feel like there's much of an emphasis being put on this is a World Heritage, this is a national treasure. It's like more about this is a really great thing. Oh, and by the way, it is a registered thing, but we probably got like 5 more minutes. We can do another. I'll do it for you, man. But yeah, so like. Yeah, that was just something that was really kind of peculiar to me. Is
that's good.
Just such
we got 5 minutes.
Go for it, man. Just like the emphasis on this is a World Heritage, like all the shrines and stuff. It's like, why does it matter that much? That's kind of what I would always think when I'd hear people talk about that.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I'd be curious. I don't have an answer. I'm not Japanese, but I'd be very curious about that. The answer of like what someone who's Japanese, why if they think that's important, and if they do, why?
Yeah, well, let's ask the viewers. So all of the Japanese people watching, まずいつもご覧いただきありがとうございます。So if you we feel like Japan really focuses on 世界遺産 a lot.
Yeah.
And if you guys feel that way, or if you disagree or agree, please let us know in the comments. And then if you know the reason why, or you have an idea for the reason why, 間違えてもいいので, if you have an idea for the reason why, please let us know in the comments, because it is an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you really realize until you kind of stop and think about, like, wait, World Heritage Site? Like, this is just like a cool place to visit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, why do you emphasize as a World Heritage Site?
You know, personally, like, I may get in trouble for saying this, but I do.
Here we go.
The podcast will be canceled in 5 minutes.
Honestly, I mean, we've kind of just been trending with controversy basically on our episodes recently. So
I feel like, especially dating back from the Meiji period, there's been some sort of like an inferiority complex in Japan compared to Western countries, where they're trying to prove to Western countries, like, we are as good as you guys. Like, I remember reading history, there was, when Matthew Perry came and opened up the borders, Japan was subject to unequal treaties where they basically got the short end of the stick, right? And they modernized. And then after they modernized, they said, hey, we like to renegotiate the treaties with you. And America and England were like, no.
Yeah.
And then you had the Russo-Japanese War that they won. And then they said, okay, guys, now let's renegotiate the treaties. And then they said, yes. But what was interesting is at the end of World War I, Japan was not allowed a seat at the table when they were doing the Treaty of Versailles or whatever.
Yeah. Despite being a very major participant in World War I, which is something that's not talked about at all.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, I feel like there's this kind of underlying tone in Japanese culture saying, hey, we're as good as you guys. We're on the same level as you guys. You don't need to look down on us anymore. It's kind of like, you know, we were talking to someone who was really talking about all the anti-Japanese, anti-Asian racism abroad.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking, but it's not just Asian. Any minority is going to get that too, right? So that's my idea. If you want to cancel me, you can cancel me.
No, I mean, I feel like I don't know. Just as a white American, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there probably is some truth to that, right? Because I think Japan has been, like, historically speaking, has been trying to play catch up with the West.
Yeah.
Ever since the two, like, groups met.
Yeah, back in, like, the Meiji period.
But even, like, in the 1980s, you know, like, post World War II, it's like Japan's been really trying to, like, catch up with the American like, industry.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like maybe there's an attitude where it's like, all right, well, we want to push the fact that Japan is an important place and establish that in the world.
Yeah.
So that's not a challenged idea.
Yeah, you know, to be honest,
I could see that.
To be honest, when I was in the States, when I first moved to the States from Germany, I had a friend who was very conservative and very patriotic. And I kind of felt uncomfortable when he kept on saying America was the best at everything. Like, he wouldn't say that America's the best at everything. He's like, America's the best this, America's the best this. And I'm thinking, you actually don't really know that, but I think you're afraid to find out that maybe America's not the best. Because it's like in the States too, you have these people who are so patriotic because they're afraid that what they're taking pride in is not as good as they think it is, and that reflects on them, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like people are like that in the States sometimes?
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Yeah. I mean, before I would agree with you, but like now I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like people are too unpatriotic.
Especially in the past, like 10, 15 years.
Yeah. I feel like people, like, every time I go back home, I never hear people talk positively of the U.S.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that kind of really tipped me off to what I was talking about before is when people would mention British people or French people, at least in my circle of people I knew, they would always make a reference back to World War II or the Revolutionary War or something. Why would I go to England? We beat them. Like, what?
Like, just dumb
it's like 200 years ago. What are you talking about?
Really stupid statements like that.
But people don't really do that anymore. Now it's just America sucks.
Yeah. Which is, it is what it is. But I think the main reason why a lot of Americans kind of feel like apathetic towards Olympic Games is just like a lack, like, first of all, the size of the United States, but a lack of, like, established national identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting really destabilized. I'm surprised at how many people who are American citizens say they hate America. America should go away. Like, did you see the pro-Palestine riots on the Capitol?
Oh man,
they're tearing down the flag and burning the flag.
Well, not only that, but there was a lot of like defacing of like really historic government buildings that were made out of like marble.
Yeah,
and that's permanent.
Yeah,
you can't fix that.
Yeah,
so that's really sad to see.
Yeah,
like, you know, I'm all for free speech. I think that's one of the things that makes America.
Yeah.
But I draw the line where it's like you start destroying culture.
Violence or vandalism. Yeah,
destroying cultural, like, historical identity is like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could disagree with it, but like, you can't change history.
Yeah.
History is history.
Yeah, if I had to err on one side of being anti-patriotic or pro-patriotic, I'd rather be a little bit too patriotic.
Yeah, I don't know, it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
You know? But it is what it is. Yeah. Well, God, we kind of ended on a sad note there, but I know. I think this is a really interesting topic because I have talked with some of my Japanese friends here and they've asked me, it's like, oh, are you following the limits? Like, no, I haven't watched anything. Right. It's like, what?
Yeah, they get really surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, this kind of ended on like a sad note, but if you guys have any thoughts, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, for sure. I really want to know how people feel about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you next time.
See you guys.
Yeah.